Hey there, in this video I'll show you how to set up an Obsidian sync on GitHub using a simple systemd service. The main reason why I'm making this video is because I've had my power note-taking system in Obsidian and I've lost it due to hard drive failure. I really don't want you to end up in a similar situation, so here we are. In this video we will initialize a Git repository inside of our vault, upload it to GitHub, and write a simple systemd service to run a shell script every 15 minutes that will commit and optionally upload the changes automatically. And for those who are using NixOS, we will also make it declarative. Let's go. The first step is to go to the directory where your vault is located and initialize a Git repository with Git in it. Next, let's create a .gitignore file where we will ignore .obsidian and .trash directories because you probably don't want to backup your Obsidian config and trash files. But if you do, you can skip this step. Now let's switch to GitHub and create a new repository. You can make it private if needed. So why did I say that you can optionally make the script to push and pull changes? Well, I wouldn't trust an automatic script to do this, because if a merge conflict occurs, the script workflow is basically messed up. But if you're not afraid of that, here is how to do it. Manual actions to push or pull from GitHub usually require writing an SSH passphrase. If you don't have one, you can refer to GitHub documentation to set it up. But because we want to make it automatic, we will need a GitHub token. And if you're going to push and pull manually, you can skip this step. Go to your settings, developer settings, personal access tokens, classic tokens, and generate a new classic token. Let's give it a name, set up an expiration date, and select repo. After generating, you will never see the token again, so make sure to save it somewhere. But remember, these tokens are like passwords, so keep it safe. Now let's come back to our vault directory, where we initiated the repository, and add a new remote, providing the HTTP URL along with the token, like that. With this we will be able to push and pull from a shell script. Or if you want to push and pull manually, replace this with a simple SSH link. Now it's time to write a shell script. First of all, let's create a variable vault0 with a path to our vault and cd into it, or exit1 if it doesn't exist, which ensures that other commands won't be executed in such case. Then we stage all changes and commit with a date. If no changes detected, exit 0. For pulling, we write git pull rebase origin master, or exit 1 if it returns an error. Now we'll comment this line because our remote repository doesn't have a master branch yet, and it will definitely return an error. And for pushing, git push origin master. And again, you can remove these two lines if you're going to push and pull manually. The reason why I specified exit code 0 after git commit is because when there are no changes to commit, this should not be considered an error, and therefore should not be shown in systemd logs as an error. But if something goes wrong with cd or git pull, this is something we would definitely like to see in systemd logs. Basically, the reason why I wrote exit code 0 is readability. So let's make the script executable and give it a go. As you can see, the changes were successfully committed and uploaded to GitHub. And for manual pushing, we need to write git push setup stream origin master. Then it will ask for a passphrase, and after that command, you can simply write git push, skipping all unnecessary arguments. So after we make sure that the script works flawlessly, it's time to uncomment git pull because it will work now. So let's write our systemd service. Let's cd into .config/systemd/user and create a new file, git sync obsidian.service. If you're not familiar with writing systemd units, here is a quick overview. Here we will have two blocks, unit and service. Each of them will have two options, description, once, type, and exact start. Description defines a unit description. Once is used to specify dependencies. I'll write here git sync obsidian.timer. This is the file that we'll create later. Type defines behavior of a service. Simple means the service is considered started immediately after the exec start command is executed. And exec start is basically the command we would like to run. I'll write here path to our shell script. Now let's save it and create a new file, git sync obsidian.timer. Write description and provide two other blocks, timer and install, with options on calendar and wanted by. On calendar defines how often the service must be executed. To make it execute every 15 minutes, write this thing. Wanted by is used to specify what the service depends on. We will write that the timer should be activated as part of the timers.target, which is a special systemd target for timers. Now to check if this thing works, let's change 15 minutes to 1 minute, reload user system services, and start git sync obsidian.timer. To check whether the service is running or not, you can use systemctl user status git sync obsidian.service or systemctl user list timers. Now let's make some changes in our vault and wait till the timer goes off. Go to GitHub or write git log one line, and if it has a new commit, everything works perfectly. You can now change 1 minute timer back to 15 minutes or anytime you want, and work on your Obsidian vault without the fear of losing it. Just don't forget to periodically write git push if you didn't implement automatic pushing. This is when NixOS comes in, because on NixOS you can do all that much simpler and in a declarative way. I'm going to configure the shell script and service through the Home Manager. If you hadn't set it up, refer to my full NixOS guide. I'll create a file obsidian.nix and import it in my home configuration as a module. We'll take packages as input and create a variable git sync obsidian, which contains our shell script created with the function write script bin, which automatically puts the script in path. Now we import the package git sync obsidian and create a systemd service using systemd.user.services.service_name. Inside we just translate the systemd syntax into Nix. Same thing with the timer, but here we'll write systemd.user.timers.timername. After Home Manager switch, there might be an error stating that the existing file is in the way of the Nix generated file. You can either configure Home Manager.backup file extension or simply delete the services we created previously and run Home Manager switch again. The coolest thing about Nix is that you won't need to write any additional commands to make services work. They just work out of the box, and you can check this with the systemctl command. And before we finish, I want to briefly mention that I have a practical NeoVim course with my own interactive exercises, visual mnemonics, and lots of cheat sheets that are made for you to remember Vim motions forever. So if you're interested in learning NeoVim with practice, check out my course in the description. Thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.